So it's now MW3. We're here with Glenn Schofield. Thank you much for your time.
Sure.
Obviously, Sledgehammer Games, brand new studio, and you're working on the biggest game ever. How is that?
I don't know. It's good luck, I guess. But we came over. I've been in the industry a long time, so I've made a lot of games. And we put together the studio for Activision, and we were going to work on a action adventure title, and we had been, but Call of Duty. When we got the call from MW, and you don't turn this down.
Of course. And what have you brought to the table that necessarily Infinity Ward may not have thought about?
Well, I'm not sure they didn't think about it, but we have a really strong team like they do, and we bring I think a background in narrative and story, very good art team, and it really complemented what they have. And the two teams actually push each other. Yeah. And it was a healthy competition, and the game is better for it.
Do you think you managed to spice things up though? Because obviously Infinity Ward have been doing Call of Duty for such a long time.
Yes.
Do you think getting people like yourself who have this experience coming in there, you'll see things that they may not have seen?
Yeah, I believe so. Somebody put it to me recently. They just said, "You guys together have made a great Call of Duty game. It feels like Call of Duty, but there's something different in a good way, right?" We've added a lot with audio, with VO, I think with graphics. I think you're going to see the moments are bigger, and we've also, before the games, have big footprint in size of the maps, but we've also gone vertical. Yeah. And a lot of people told us in the beginning, you shouldn't really go vertical, and we're like, what do we know? We're going to go ahead and do it. So.
Yeah. And what does that do to Modern Warfare, though? How does that bring it forward?
Well, it made the levels pretty big.
Yeah, obviously.
And but it also added a real uniqueness in pacing. So you're outside, and it's sort of a big battle in there, and maybe you're flanking and going inside, and the battle changes, right? You're kind of clearing rooms and looking around. Becomes a little more stealth. Then you can blow up the side of a building, and you've got all that height. And I think it also added a big epic nature to sort of like the harbor level. Yeah. And when you're in the middle of a city, it feels like you're really there in London, like you're there in Paris, and also when you're in Hamburg or Berlin. So not only did I think it helped give grounding to where you are, but it made it feel epic in nature.
Yeah, and as for the game itself as well, do you ever get worried that it's becoming such a big franchise in its own right? Everyone expects it to be the best Call of Duty, to be the biggest entertainment launch ever. These things have become almost, are they with the product? This is what people expect. Is that a lot of pressure on you guys, or is it something you look forward to living up to?
Well, both. As a game maker, you always want to be better than you were before. So you're trying to outbetter yourself, and you're trying to come up with stuff that is so big in your imagination that you might not be able to pull it off. But then we look at that and we're like, well, that's the challenge. Let's go build that. Since joining it, the Call of Duty, you find out by Twitter or email or Facebook how many people are really involved in it, and are excited about it and want you to do well. And there's a pressure to want to live up to that. But that's my job, So.
And that success as well has almost painted a target on you guys' back. It's like, everyone keeps saying, who's going to be next Call of Duty? Yes. And you've got games like Battlefield that are being at least marketed as if they're coming out after you. Do you look at the competition, or you just see that as a healthy battle?
I don't pay attention to it that much, because by the time that the competition has really announced that they're coming out, we hear about things, but then when they come out, our game is so far along that you can't really change anything about it, and I don't think we would anyway. You just see the same drips and drabs of the game that other people do. For me, the competition is really Modern Warfare 2. I've got to be better and bigger and badder than that one. Or, Black Ops. I've got to come out and be better than that. So I don't think about the competition too much. I mean, that's really the truth. The only time I really kind of run into it is at the trade shows and things like that. So.
Okay, and also multiplayer has almost become, some people don't play single player campaign, they just focus on the multiplayer. With your backspanning games like Dead Space, where narrative is so important, are you doing things to try and lure those people back into the single player?
Well, we've put a lot of emphasis on Spec Ops. And Spec Ops is really something that both Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer has said, this is what we want to blow out. Because we realize that a lot of people play multiplayer and they play single player, and we actually want to get them both playing both. And I think that Spec Ops has that nice balance, right?
Yeah.
I can play co-op, I can use some of the levels that are in multiplayer, so I can get used to them. And if I'm in multiplayer, I can kind of go in and probably just play with one buddy. You can even play single player if you want.
Yeah.
So it's got the same leaderboards and progressive ranking and upgrades and things like that. So it feels familiar to the multiplayer guy, and maybe he wants to go in to play the story. And the single player guy can go into and just play with a friend and say, I know the maps well enough, I may just go try multiplayer.
Yeah, and
That's what kind of we're hoping.
And you see things like Call of Duty Elite and obviously the big XP event you got coming on as ways to grow that community?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, XP is not really about growing the community. It's about giving back to the community.
Yeah.
It really has been designed for the fans. And that's why we've kept it kind of a smaller footprint. We want those people who are really diehards to just really have a great experience. And it really is. We were spending a lot of money to make a great show for them.
I can imagine. And before we let you go as well, Sledgehammer Games, which is widely reported as being your baby almost as well. You mentioned you're working on an action-adventure title. Will you go back to that game once Modern Warfare 3 is done, or do you have other ideas in the pipeline?
I don't think we'll go back to that one. The genre was really good, but it might be a bit niche. I don't really know. But we had something special there, but we'll see. I've really had a blast making a first-person shooter, so
Maybe just keep with that.
yeah, I'd like to.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Glenn, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.